Welcome to Barako BS, where I try to answer or deflect on questions. So these questions were submitted through Instagram. Some are just in a queue in my notepad that I've had for a while, and I go through them and pick and choose. So as a reminder, Barako's Philippine coffee that I drink in the morning. Actually, today's afternoon. Just came from an event. So iced coffee at almost 6 p.m. I'm going to be awake. But yes. So events, what's going on? Oh, wait, if you have any questions, you can send a voicemail, k@kaboy.com. Send a voice message via IG or even a video if you want in the DMs. All social media, just look me up. All right, so what's going on? Events this weekend on the 18th, Sunday, Alameda. It is May, and it is Asian American. I'm trying to remember. Pacific Islander, or no, Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And you know how I know that? Because it gets busy. And I just came from an event at Levi's today. It was cool, but I noticed with all these events, and even the ones actually that are Filipino events, is that y'all need to do better with the music, the DJs. So yeah, cool, you have so-and-so DJ, but then the music does not match the culture. I know a couple in LA events, they play some stuff. They'll play Ocho Ocho and whatever, but then it matches the vibe. And so I think that's kind of a spot that we, and when I say we, could be AANHPI needs to work on. Because wouldn't that be cool if you have a DJ that is knowledgeable in all the region's music? That's a lot. It kind of sucks and stupid. I get it, to put all of us in one group, but we're not a monolith, and our music is not a monolith. But that's just an observance. Anyway, so yes, Sunday, Alameda, for a festival at a park. I'll post it. The link's in the bottom. Then on the 25th, I have a Batok workshop in Petaluma at Frau Salon. So it's the first time I'll be doing a workshop up in the North Bay. Then at the end of the month, in 31st to June 1, I'll be at Seattle, Pagdiriwang. Then 6/6, San Jose for the night market, Fam Jam. Then 6/7, Saturday, back in Vallejo for Pista Nayon. Then 6/8, an Alameda workshop. This one's going to be kind of different. Details are still being worked on. Then, a bunch of other stuff in mid-June. So it's going to be busy because it is event season. All right, enough of that. Let's get to the questions.
I'm a 25-year-old IT professional, single, no kids, and make a decent living. How do I get started with a side business? With the world economy being trashed by the orange fool, I feel that I need to have something just in case I get laid off.
So I can relate to this. One, I worked in IT for a very long time, and I've always had a side gig. So I didn't start it when I was already a working professional per se, but since I was 13. Actually, I just realized this on Saturday at the Harajuku Fest. And I realized, because I grew up going to that mall, and it's kind of reminiscing and all that stuff. And I realized that I've been doing these pop-ups, not like from a cultural aspect, but I used to have this sports card business and comic books. And I've been doing these type of events, pop-ups, since I was around 13. So I've always had a side gig. Well, even then it was my full-time gig. But anyway, the question is 25-year-old IT professional, single, no kids, and make a decent living, probably six figures. And 6 figures isn't that much nowadays, low six figures. how do I get started with a side business with the world economy being trashed by the orange fool? I feel that I need to have something just in case I get laid off. So, number one, appreciate the orange fool comment. I think not all of us agree, but I certainly do. And just in case you get laid off, and again, I relate to that. I was laid off just about 2 years ago from my corporate job. I remember I also lost the consulting contract, so I was like, shoot, all of this came at the same time. But I already had this side gig, and I don't like calling it side gig, like the bye and the art and all that. Even though the day job paid a lot more money, my mentality was that that is my full time gig. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm good at. And even though it does not make the same amount of money as the full time gig, the day job, I still look at it as my full time job. The 9 to 5 corporate job, that is the side gig, and so it's a mentality switch. And so first I would do that, but I guess how do you get started with a side business? It's kind of a loaded question, but what are you good at? There's a formula that I like. Is like it goes like this: what are you good at? What will people pay me for? Are they willing to pay? All of that, product market fit, if you want to get technical, and you can go from there. Make a list of those things, because you don't wanna you won't have time to experiment. It seems like you want to do something sooner. And I think the way things are, we don't have the luxury to experiment. So if you want to get paid, certainly something you have competency in. Everyone has this, I want to say, this dream of passive income. But passive income means, like you make money while you sleep or you have something automation. But first, I think you have to concentrate on active income. And that's the tough part. And then as you start to prove that you have active income, like, people will pay for it, you're making a little money, then you can look to automate to make certain parts of it passive. So you don't just start off with a passive income business, because there's always going to be some front loading. But the key to succeeding is creating something that's active, but that means it's harder. Yeah, you're going to be working 2-3 jobs, but eventually you'll be able to automate some systems, or you can hire assistants, to make things lighter, the workload. But you can only do that if you prove that there is income, and that's active income. For example, for me, the let's say t-shirts. You design t-shirts, you print them out yourselves. That is active income. You sell them at pop-up shop, pop-ups at events and stuff. That's active income. And say you want to move into passive income, then you can look at to like on-demand printing. You put them on a website like Shopify, and then you run ads, so you don't have to do the pop-ups, physically be at these events. And so, but you can only do that if you know that people are going to buy. Otherwise, it's a big experimentation. Usually if people buy something offline, they'll buy it online. So there, I hope that helped. Love to know, I said love. I'd like to know what comes about of this this side business. Or I'll just say business, because it's not going to be on the side. And I guess I would caution trying to monetize something that you're passionate about. So you could be good at like accounting and things like that and get clients, but you're not passionate about it, which is fine. It's that's more just for the money. But yeah, I would caution about doing something that you're passionate about, because You don't want to ruin your passion while turning it capitalistic. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good way to ruin your passion, is if you put some undue pressure on yourself. Like, all right, I used to love to paint, but now I got to paint all these things just to pay the bills, right? And so you're going to compromise your art, compromise yourself ultimately. And you may resent and get sick of it. You know what I'm saying? So watch out for that.
Looks like you're a sports fan. What do you think of the Warriors?
Why, yes, I am a sports fan. As you can see, this shirt, shout out Bayani Art. Oakland A's, long live the Oakland A's. The Oakland Athletics. Now they're up in SAC. What the hell happened there? So yeah, I am a sports fan. The Warriors are going to play in like 30 minutes. Game 5. It's not looking good, but I think that, I guess the question is Steph Curry, should he play game 6 if the Warriors win tonight? I don't know, because the long run, I guess the next, probably has a couple years left in him. I think that Steph and I think what's his name, Rick Celebrini, their medical guy, is more looking for the future, I guess, even though it's a limited future in the next couple years, maybe 3 years Steph has left in his career. But I don't think they want to have like rush him back and then he tears his hamstring and then his career's over. All right. Or worse, he plays and they lose anyway. So that's a double loss. I think there's a bright future next year for the team. I don't know about John. I like Jonathan Kuminga, but he just doesn't. It doesn't fit. But I got a bunch of his rookie cards, so dang, I hope that he gets on the team. He would be like what's his name, Jalen Green, if he had 25, 30 minutes a night. So we'll see. But 3-1 down without Steph, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. Thanks for the question, though. I like that. It doesn't have to be about culture and art and all this woke stuff, but let's go back to what makes us happy. So thanks. I'm gonna be posting about the Warriors in like about an hour. No, I won't. If they lose, I'm just gonna shut up. So I'll be moted.
What is your work-life balance?
I get this question a lot about work-life balance. I would say that it doesn't exist. I mean, I do get rest. Actually, even just today, somebody came up to my table at Levi's, and they've been following my work, blah blah blah, and they said, "Well, do you even get any sleep?" I think it's because of perception that I'm traveling all around and I post all the time on social media, so that social media is just, it's fake. It's not real life. It's just the highlights. I post some of the lowlights and losses in stories. Maybe I should post them. Maybe I have. I need to do it more though, in the posts. So it is a good. So maybe yeah. But in general, social media is highlights, and the perception of people is that they view your success, but they don't see any of the struggles and things like that. But work-life balance. My work is my life, and I don't look. That whole old saying that if you love or enjoy what you're working, then you don't have to work a day in your life. And it's kind of cliche, and I get it. But I'm going through this exploration and transition, and that's period, I guess, because I prepared for this. I knew it was eventually going to happen. I saved up, so I have been preparing for this, and it's going to take a couple of years. The trick is to see like, I didn't plan or didn't envision that the world economy, the anxiety and all this stuff would be happening right now. So that's a big question mark around the work that I do. Like look, people aren't going to get tattoos if they don't got a job. It's tough, right? So, and I totally get it. But I guess to answer the question, I don't have a work-life balance. I'm always on the clock per se. I'm always writing things down. But I would say that I tend to wind down. It's pretty strict, I would say. Around 10 p.m. I start to wind down. I'm gonna like put my phone down, close I say close, turn off the computer, iPad down, and just watch something on Netflix, HBO, or whatever. But even then, my mind wanders because I can't even just watch a show without thinking an angle like, oh, I can create art out of this, or oh, that fits into this story that I'm writing, or that would be a good post, or the narrative, blah blah blah. Like I was watching The Pit about the emergency room, and there's Filipino nurses, and I thought, okay, how can I work this into what I'm doing? And I have friends that are nurses, and then I was talking to them. I had a consultation for a tattoo, and she works in surgery. She's a nurse, and I was asking her a bunch of questions. So I thought, okay, wait, I can get on a podcast what's right or accurate or wrong about The Pit. And so I'm always I guess on call, but I try to like physically wind down, whether around 10 o'clock, pour some water or have some tea, or take an eddy, and that is kind of the quiet time. Then I'll wake up early in the morning. I like waking up early and getting right to work. I think I accomplish between like 7 to 10, while most people are just getting their Starbucks or even still asleep. So there is no work-life balance, but I guess you can say done by 10. All right, that's it for this week's Barako and BS. If you'd like to send a question in, send a voicemail, k@kaboy.com. Send a video message or voice note via IG, whatever. I'm on all the social media, or ask it on Threads. I'm on Threads a lot. I haven't been that active in Blue Sky yet that much. I have a few posts in there, but I don't know. I just can't get into it. It's not as intuitive as Threads. So look for me out there. All right, next week is going to be KK Labs. And I don't know yet what I'm going to do with that. It's my experimental week, so we'll figure it out. Okay, all right. See y'all later. Bye.